Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, the famous Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas, and today we're in studio, so we are with the Cannonball King himself, Mr. Spider.
Cannonball!
Today we're talking to Sabeena Hickman, Jeanne Mendelson, Jeff Henriksen with the PHTA. We're excited to have you guys in-house. Want to welcome everyone to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I botched that up, John. It's because you didn't call me last night. That's why.
It is.
The podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, Blu-ray Excel, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Heritage Pool Supply, and Hayward Pool Products. Mr. Zacharias, good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. I slept like a rock last night after hanging out with all you guys, going hard and all that barbecue, man. And by the time we got home, I was toasted. So I went down hard, and I woke up early this morning, and next thing you know, I'm waking up for the second time. So I'm feeling good.
Going hard for him is, what did we say, 8:22 p.m.?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Everybody's got you figured out, buddy.
I know.
John, good morning.
Good morning.
What happened? You didn't call me last night. He didn't call last night, Zach. He didn't call this morning. He just kind of strolled up through that door. Good morning.
I couldn't keep my eyes open, man. As soon as I went home, I was emotionally and physically just exhausted yesterday. I don't know why.
Emotionally?
Yeah, emotionally. Yes. Right.
You didn't.
I do that to people. Right. I'm sorry. Must have been me.
I was thinking, that's a day with Jeanne.
So it was exhausted. No, I was tired. It was a long day, obviously, traveling. And I'm sure you guys came straight from the airport, right? Traveling straight from the airport to meet us. And we were in studio for hours and hours. And then after that, we went out to go do dinner. No rest for you guys. For me, it was more of, I have a laundry list of stuff that's going on, obviously, at home, and things we have to do moving. So the last, I don't know, at least the last 2 weeks, my sleep has been not optimal. So it finally caught up with me last night. So I'm sorry, Edgar.
I'm going to tell you what, bro. Like, you've been replaced.
I have.
You've been. So here's what happened. We go out last night to dinner. I got my first boo. I go out to dinner. I wanted to go to Buc-ee's. Then nobody wanted to go to Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a step in on that one.
So I got
Thank
back
you.
home.
Yeah.
I got back home, and I go to Zach, and I go to Leanne. We need to go to Buc-ee's. And what I did
No, you did not
is
go
I
home
called
and go to
I
Buc-ee's.
called Jeannie and said, Jeannie, we're going to Buc-ee's, and she's like, pick me up. We're going. We came down. We picked up Jeannie. We didn't say anything to Jeff and Sabeena, and we hit Buc-ee's last night till like 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, because that lightweight. Come
Right.
on.
Yeah.
From
That's the place to
Florida.
be, right? Buc-ee's, right? I'm not going to say what I said at dinner last night about my thoughts on Buc-ee's, but I do enjoy it. But I think you enjoy it a little bit more than most.
No,
Yeah.
I enjoy the let's keep going. And
Yeah,
and,
no, you're
and
nonstop.
Jeannie's my kind of person that
speaking
it's
of that-
like, if we're gonna go,
Let's
we're gonna
go.
right. We're gonna make sure that we did everything so that we can't say we went and I should have gone and I didn't.
Yeah. Well,
So, and you used to be that person. You used to be my ride or die kind of guy, and last night that didn't happen.
Sorry, pal.
wow. Did we talk about
Not the
some
first time I've
you-
taken that position.
Right. Oh my
So-
God.
You can have her. We'll take you. Thank you.
So I think I'm going to need some therapy today. So we're
I
not going to
do. I
talk
think
about the
we're gonna have to-
PHTA. Can we talk about me and
We're gonna have to
my
restart.
emotional issues here?
Yeah, dude, you messed him up.
I don't know, but can you tell he's like, I mean, Edgar's usually always rocking and rolling, right? And pumped up and ready to go. But today you are like on another level. And I always try to match the energy, but I'm afraid that I'm going to fall short today.
He's like extra peppy.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
extra
I'm
peppy
extra
today.
peppy?
Like,
Oh, yeah.
almost to the point where I'm like, we need to talk or something.
That's because I got Jeanne and she's going to match my energy.
That's right. Ride or die,
No,
baby.
but look, all BS aside, yesterday was awesome. You know, I had a really good time yesterday, and everybody goes into a situation or to a meeting or when we meet new people, and you know, everybody first impressions, and you kind of have like your idea of how it's going to go or what you think it's going to be like. And when we think of the majority, when you think of PHTA, you guys play a big, huge role in this industry, right? And you guys are like an entity up above, and here we are, the three of the leaders of that organization. And sometimes you draw conclusions and you think that, hey, it's going to be strictly, I'm not going to say we weren't professional. We absolutely were, but it's like all business, no talk. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But
Say
you
it.
guys
You
were,
thought we weren't fun.
yeah, you guys were. I had an amazing time talking to you guys yesterday, and it was very enlightening. It was energizing. The conversations that we had and we talked about it just felt really good, because it makes me believe and it makes me feel more positive about our industry and where we're going and the changes that we've seen in the past, and primarily the last few years, where everybody's kind of coming together and understanding we have a common goal and we're all in it to better the industry, and there are different organizations, different podcasts, different, companies and vendors and manufacturers and stuff, but slowly but surely some of the things that I was not so happy about, let's say 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, are starting to change for the positive. And yesterday, like I said, and I was telling Janie on the way back when we were driving, I was like, wow, I had a really good time. Not that I wasn't expecting to have a good time talking to you guys, but it was like, wow. So I really appreciate it. I know it's hard for you guys to take the time out of your day. You guys run a very busy schedule, especially with all the things you guys do for the industry. So to take the time out to come out and see us out in Dallas and spend some time being a little silly and doing some of the things maybe outside the box that you might not be used to doing, and then sitting here today doing the podcast with us, we greatly appreciate it. And all our listeners and everybody hearing today's podcast, I think they're going to see the same or feel the same. So thank you.
Well, we were talking about so many commonalities between Pool Nation and PHTA, and it's all about, I love how all you guys say is the pros, the pool pros, like raising the professionalism. So when people are like, what do you think of Pool Nation? You guys stepped in to serve a need where there wasn't one for service, which is so reminiscent of what Genesis did back in the day for the builders. And I love the energy that you guys have. And I mean, you guys are there for those service folks. And then, I was telling you guys, I think this is why you like me. Because my husband's like, where are you going?
I think he said he liked me.
I thought it was me.
Right? I didn't hear that.
Well, when he says
specifically.
you, his eyes are on me. But I said, he's like, where are you going? I said, we're going to record a podcast. He's like, okay. I'm like, it's like the Pat McAfee of the industry. Like, you guys are
too kind.
awesome. Like, fun, and just you connect with people. So we're honored to be here.
We
Right, Jeff?
appreciate
Right.
we
Yeah.
appreciate you guys being here. So, Jeannie, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. Thrilled to be here. I echo everything that was said. We had a great time yesterday. Great to talk about the industry. I come from the association side. I've been in associations for 30 years because I started right out of elementary school. So it's perfect. I started in one of my first organizations was composites manufacturers, and then I went to healthcare, Lamaze International. Now I'm back to pools, kind of full circle, because this industry is just full of good people, family businesses. We've met so many good people, and we talked about elevating the industry, and that's what the education does. So I'm thrilled how thirsty this industry is for education. So thrilled to be in this industry. I think we have a lot of synergies with Pool Nation and PHTA, and so many new programs coming that we'll talk about later, I think. So thrilled to be here.
Thank you. Jeff, you're quiet over in the corner. What's going on?
Trained
Tough to
well.
get a word in sometimes.
How you doing?
Good. I've been here a whopping year and 1/4, so year and 3 months, and just really opened my eyes to the scale of this industry. So for me, from manufacturing to retail to service to builders, it's just amazing how big the industry is. And so just seeing our trajectory and everything there gets me really excited to think about all the things that we can accomplish. But I came here from the HVAC trade, so residential and commercial, union side of the industry, and very interesting to get to know contractors and business owners and really apply that to the service and manufacturing and retail, everything there.
All that. Appreciate
All
that.
that.
We'll have to share about your daughters, by the way, because they're out doing an amazing trip.
They are.
And so Jaden is over in Europe. I haven't gotten one picture yet, so I'm living vicariously through your daughters every time they send a picture. And I'm like, you got any new pictures? Can I see? You know,
Yeah.
because typical boy is like, I need money. I'm like, bro, like he sent me a message last night at like 12:30. He's
I
like,
need
I need
money.
$35. I'm like, dude, I swear. Sabeena,
Sabeena,
good morning.
how are you?
Thanks for coming.
Oh, love. We might not leave.
You might not leave. Let's do it.
Jeff packed for a week, so
For a week. It was more like 2 weeks.
I know. We carry on.
Yeah.
He checks his bag.
I don't know
I
what's
did.
happening there.
I did.
Yeah, no. Been with PHTA for almost 5 years. I started in September of 2019, right after the two organizations unified. I've built my whole career on nonprofit associations. Had no idea what it was. I was a meeting planner. I did registration for a defense association, and then just kind of, this is my third association. I usually, my tenure's usually about 12 years, so you're stuck with me for at least another 7. But it's been great. It's been great. It's been a lot of work. But as Jeannie said, the passion, the involvement from the industry, the desire to raise the professionalism, we've had a lot of fun these past 5 years.
That's awesome. And there's a lot of great stories that we're going to get into here, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. I do want to get our housekeeping notes out of the way, and then we'll do our deep dive. So, first of all, I'm going to start off with happy birthday to Sienna, my
Happy
daughter.
birthday,
Happy
Sienna.
birthday.
I know.
Happy
That's
birthday.
today.
Yeah.
She's
Big 1-8, right?
Yeah, she's 18. So she's the one that had the accident, and obviously she turns 18. So I see her this morning, John Zach, and I'm singing happy birthday, and her first words out of her mouth is like, Dad, now 3 of your kids are adults. You got one left. I'm like, really? That's what you're going to start off with early in the morning? Really? So anyway, so big happy birthday to you. Big shout out there. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the algae cheat sheet is online.
Well, what is it for? It's our algae week, right? We
Algae
pinned
week.
the algae week, right?
Algae week.
Forever,
Yes.
year after year now.
So we decided this last
Been
week to
great.
kind of run with an algae week. And so we did a podcast that came out Monday. We had Alicia on Wednesday. We went on the Poolman University. We uploaded the first 3 chapters of that. So you guys can go check that out. Go to the Poolman University. And I pinned it up to the top. So you guys are able to see that. And then today we put out the algae cheat sheet. So you can go to poolnation.com. If you scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see it right there. You can't miss it. Just enter your email address and you'll be able to download it from there. The next thing that we have is the Women's Summit, which is going to be August 29th and 30th. And Sabina's going to be there, right?
Jeannie, too.
Jeannie, too.
Yes, on my birthday, I'll just say.
Oh, that's right.
Really?
It's your, oh, yeah.
Don't worry. You'll get weekly reminders on that.
So we're definitely going to be doing that. We're going to start off that entire event with Alicia, and she's going to be talking about breaking boundaries. She's going to share her story of discovery, passion, and making a difference.
Then we'll start with driving results through accountability.
And then next is going to be maintaining company culture with Carrie David.
And then we'll have a class on emotional intelligence and effective leadership, and that'll be Doreen King.
We'll have a public speaking workshop with Jamie Novak.
And then we're going to have a class on balancing career and family strategies for success with none only than Sabeena Hickman.
going to figure it out pretty quick. Just kidding.
I'm going to make sure her family doesn't weigh in.
Wait, what? What family?
Do as I say, not as I do.
family?
Like, right?
I think we're all guilty of that. So, and then we're also going to have Francine Gonzalez. That is going
Francine's
to, and
awesome.
I met her, and so Sabeena talked to me and said, I have the perfect person to close the event. And then I was able to do a Zoom call with her, and I'm like, man, you nailed it. Like, I'm really excited to have her.
very
I mean,
cool.
and hear her story is absolutely amazing. And we'll also have Stacy Gearhart. She is the GM over at Rate Pack. She'll share her story as well. Next thing is we have the Pool Nation Spotlight and Insights. So if you want to get that, go to poolnation.com. You can register for the newsletter. We have promos every month. I think we have a promo right now, John, for Aquastar, $300 plus. They get
Actuator and a valve.
and a valve.
Yep. So about $500 worth of savings.
And that's about $500. And then we have one out every month, and we have a special one, which he came in yesterday to get some pictures done for next month. I'm
Yes.
really excited about that story. And then the other thing that we want to talk about is we have the Pool Nation Conference, November 9th, 10th, and 11th over at the PSP Expo. We'll do 4 different sessions of training. We'll have technical, hands-on, business, retail. And the last thing before we get started, the Pool Nation Awards, which are going to be
4 years, man. The 4th annual Pool Nation Awards. Now, do you believe that?
4 years.
Yeah.
You guys
Have you
should-
picked out your dress, Sabeena?
Jeff.
I thought you were
Jeff,
talking to
Jeff.
I thought you were talking to Edgar.
No.
No.
So, those are going to be. Are you guys doing anything the night of the 13th? Check your schedules.
We'll have to check my
Check your
schedule.
You are
schedule.
formally
Check your schedule.
invited.
You're formally
Thank you.
invited.
Please.
Thank you. I do have a
We
nice
would
frock.
love to have
Perfect.
How am I not surprised, Jamie, that if there was anybody that's going to be like, I'm going to be dressed up, it was going to
Right,
be her, right?
right.
She was
And
like,
you
I'm-
go all. I mean, it is completely like you look like Janie looked like a princess the last 4 years.
She looked like
Oh, it is
Cinderella.
like a
So much
seriously.
fun.
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
so
What's
much
it?
fun.
Wasn't it like a Cinderella dress last
yeah.
year? Is that what you did?
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Nice.
So much fun.
Gotta get
It
my
was great.
jewels out.
Yep,
I'm
for real.
excited.
So,
Steve Barnes rocked it with his suit last year. Was
did.
that last year?
Yeah,
Yes,
He looked awesome.
he did.
very
which
sharp.
one?
Was it a red suit?
Oh no, that was Brad Duncan
There was a
with
red
Ray
suit.
Pack.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Brad did that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Steve was James Bond all the way, right?
Yeah.
He had the.
Yeah.
He had
White-
the.
the white
Tux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bond.
Yeah.
The Bond tux.
And then he got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So he wore the tan kind of jacket right there, which this year we're changing those up. We're kind of switching those suits out. So anyways, you guys are invited.
Thank you.
Thank
We'd
you.
love to have you guys there. So guys, let's get started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'm going to start with you, Jeannie.
Oh, all right.
So I know you talked a little bit about your kind of journey, but share with us how you went from what you were doing previously to what you do right now at the PHTA. Kind of what has that journey been like?
Sure. Again, I've been in nonprofit associations, so if you know about that, they're usually understaffed and under finance, so you do a little bit of everything. So I did get into education in my last job, which was Smith Buckland, which is an association management company. So there was a lot of education there. We had certifications and accreditations, and Sabeena and I worked together many, many years ago at the Composites Manufacturers Association, and where I was more into event planning and sales, actually. So she called and asked what I was up to, and so the education just really fit. We just talked about, is there a fit with what I've been doing and my interests, and with, again, the thirst for education in this industry and the desire to elevate and really professionalize the industry. We thought the education portion was the right fit. So again, I have a background in certifications and accreditations, and as we grow the industry and the professionalism, that's where we want to go. So it just seemed to be in lockstep. So here I am.
Here you are. Now, how long have you been with the PHTA?
Since June of 2020.
June of 2020.
So when nobody was going to the office, we were. Sabeena said, "Do you want to drive? Oh, by the way, get out of your house. You're back in the office." So it was great. We had a lot to build with the Alliance. So, we've come a long way, and we've done a lot. Put in some new programs and So very exciting since 2020. It's been a great ride.
As you can tell, Jeannie's she's bold. And I'm like, I failed to tell her that we took CPO virtual. And it was a little bit of a show.
Really?
So I'm like, your phone might be ringing off the hook, but you can win them over. She was like, you're not lying. I mean, she came and it was blinking. She's like, I have 723 messages. I said, yeah, you better get back to them real quick. But you did great.
Yeah, so CPO and the Genesis both kind of changing them into the Alliance and rolling with them. Was really fun. Taking them virtual, was a show with all the state approvals that CPO has in jurisdictions across the country. So it was definitely a challenge, but we got there. And people didn't think a builder's construction course for 24 hours would work virtually, but it does. It affords people who can't travel or don't want to travel or be able to educate deeper into the company. It really affords that opportunity. So it's worked really well.
Well, not only that, but I mean, it just shows, the ability to be able to change with the times, right? It's a lot different now, the way people are learning, especially the younger generation. They're not into, I want to go into a classroom and sit there. So it's, to them, they want to be on their phones. They want to do it at their own leisure. That's how they learn better. We're used to like, oh, I can either do PowerPoints. I'm a learner. I'm a hands-on, type of learner. The new generation is more of just a digital learner, and they want to learn that way. So, not resisting that change and rolling with it and pushing forward, I think only sets us up to be more successful in being able to get out there and reach these other individuals that are getting into the industry. So, and it's the way the times are. And, we had to change as well.
Oh, yeah.
We realized that from the very beginning, that we needed to do that because that's a new way to educate. Otherwise you're going to be missing out on a lot of potential students or people that want to learn that just don't dig the going to a classroom for however many are traveling and doing that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, or can't.
Yeah, or
Like
can't.
You're creating access for more individuals.
Well, and you bring up a point and can't because, you read those articles or podcasts and it says, hire the right people and let them do their job. And so Jeannie and her team came to us and they're like, we're going to take the construction course, which is our premier Genesis course, and we're going to do it virtual. I'm like, these guys don't even like to be on Zoom. She's like, and we're going to do it from 7 to 11 at night. I'm like, you're insane. And she's like, no, listen, hear me out. They're busy, right? They don't want, they'll leave at 5. They'll come home, they'll shower, eat a quick dinner. And then I'm like, okay, what did I just read? Hire the right people,
Right.
Trust them and let them do. It's been wildly successful. People call, they're like, that is brilliant. Like, I don't have to shorten my cruise. They can work a full day and then they can go home early, shower, eat, and then they get up, they get educated. So it's been great.
And
Thank you.
And here's the thing, and this is one of the things that our industry has not done well, and I love that you did that because our biggest pet peeve is people will go do courses and it's like 11 to 3 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. It's like, come on, people, like we're out in the trenches working. There's just no way to do that. And that's been one of our biggest things since day one. And people were like, well, you can't do it on a Saturday and Sunday. Those are the days off. And it's like, no, those are the days that they want to. And look at that. I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So I'm really sorry for all the people that are online because we've kind of like gone off the rails over here talking, but we have a whole bunch of people over here. So a big shout out to Jeanette, and it's a question for you that came in. So a big shout out to Jeanette out there. Regis, big shout out. Adam Gunter, thank you all for what you're doing to promote the industry in this new digital age. Expectations were exceeded. And then I have, you must ask Jeannie about Caddyshack. So I'm really interested in finding out about this Caddyshack thing now.
Oh boy, that did not come out last night. I was in Caddyshack. It was my debut. Yes.
What?
Yes,
What?
it is my claim to fame.
Say it.
100%.
What was your line?
Oh, it's not a verbal line. I got the bathroom, and we ran in the bathroom. It was in the beginning. Mommy, Danny saw me naked. My brother and I were cast in it, and it was I was 6 years old. It was amazing.
Really?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And actually,
Okay.
if you watch the behind the scenes, there's a scene of me and Harold Ramos, the director, chatting, because I've always been a little chatty. So Yeah, that's my claim to fame.
She'll send it
So
to you
funny.
if you
I
ask.
did not make someone ask that question, just for the record.
Oh, no,
That
the
was
person
Justin Ivy.
the person that I asked it, I know you didn't ask them to, but I love that they jumped on here and said that. So anyways, big shout out to everybody out there. South Florida Swims, Benny, big shout out. Blue Edge Pools, Lily Pad Pool Service, Jeff, making waves. Manuel, big shout out to you. Brandon, big shout out. Javi, big shout out to you as well. And Chad, glad that you guys are on here. Penn Valley Pools, big shout out to all of you guys.
Yeah, so Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your role with the PHTA is, and how you ended up there?
Yeah. I have known Sabeena for a very long time, and luckily for me, I was starting to look for a new job, and she had heard that I was looking, so we started having conversations about it, and it just worked out really well across the board, because everyone she works with and her whole team that she puts together is just an amazing group, and really talented people, and everyone enjoys working with everyone. It's a really tight group, and so I just love the energy coming in there. I am a chief strategy officer, so really my role is to support Sabeena in any way possible, take on some big projects that give her time to go do podcasts like this. Luckily, I get to go along every now and then on some of these, but big things in our industry. I had a lot of experience with apprenticeships, workforce development, and so those are some big areas that, I'm coming in here, managing a couple of apprenticeship programs. We have a pool professional pipeline and a job board we launched, and we have 7,500 applications on the job board for 350 employees. So it really has taken off and done well for our members. So as a member, they can post for free, and it's just really a good environment. Then we go out and promote through social media careers in the industry, and so for us, it's really raised awareness of the aquatics industry and everything that encompasses in there. So we have some big manufacturers that run hundreds of jobs, and then we have someone who's looking for someone to manage a warehouse or be in the service industry or retail. So
Now, how long have you been with the PHTA now?
a year and 3 months.
A year and a quarter, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So
On that work in aquatics, we really want to promote careers in the industry. We don't want people saying, "Oh, he's just a pool guy." And what we've realized is, somebody said it. I think it was Rudy Stankiewicz. He said, "The industry is like Hotel California. You check in, but you never leave." And that's true. People love it. It's fun. So we have stories and testimonials and videos. So any of the listeners out there, if you guys have a story to tell, there's amazing stories out there, second careers, or what brought you back. Francine, as I said, went to Stanford, pre-med, was going to be a doctor, but worked in a water park all summer and said, there's plenty of science in here. I want to build water parks. So if there's stories, let us know. We have a PR firm that interviews them and puts it out there, and we're targeting guidance counselors, parents, children who don't want to go to college and take on debt. It's expensive to go to college. So it's a really robust site that really does a great job promoting careers in our industry. So check it out. And like Jeff said, Charlie Claffey, fellow Texan, is our past chair. He was all about value proposition. So we're giving it to him for free. Mm-hmm. Our members need to hire. We need to create a pipeline. So let's just allow them to post jobs for free. So it's been very successful. We're 1 year in, I think. Didn't we just celebrate our 1 year anniversary? So it's been fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Sabeena, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So kind of boring. I wasn't in Caddyshack. My children aren't in Thailand hanging out with elephants. Yeah. No, honestly, when you look for associations, you want a great team, a great staff, which, you can kind of control. you want great members that are involved and passionate, and then a great board. And I think that's what's made us very intentional and successful. The unification happened in April of 2019. I told you guys yesterday they hired me in September. We had no strategic plan. We just had, it's like when I go to my kids' college dorm and there's stuff everywhere. There's shit everywhere. And I'm like, where do you start? And you just kind of chip away at that. We had 2 staffs, like marketing department in Colorado, marketing department here. And it was my job to figure it out. And again, the board was very supportive. COVID helped us because everything shut down. You know, we weren't traveling every week to the 700 trade shows, right? And so we were able to kind of get our shop in order. But it's been fun. I was saying yesterday, I said, do we have a strategic plan? They said no. I'm like, okay, well, we need one. And we focused on 3 pillars: educate, advocate, and elevate. We want to do that for the industry. I said, let's not be wordy and let's just be intentional. What are we going to do? But we also focused on our core values because nobody trusted us. I got calls all the time. You're going to fail. You know, Genesis is never going to survive. Skip Phillips left. Like, it was like against all odds. There's a Miley Cyrus song called The Climb. I was telling you about this.
Yeah.
And I remember I was driving home and that song came on. It was like, that was like my walk-up song. It's like, you know, and I listened to it and it was like just saying, you know, you want to get to the other side, but it's the climb. You got to chip away at it step by step. And we did that. And I was able to hire a phenomenal team who took this organization from being very transactional to building relationships, right? Like, we wanted to call our members. We don't want to just call them every year when the checks due. We want them to engage and take advantage of the services that we have. We want to hear their voice. Like, what are we not doing well? Like, what do you need to run a better business? So it's been great. It's been my hardest job I've ever had, but my most rewarding. And I tell folks, like, I was with the Lawn and Landscape. Similar, a lot of contractors. 7-10 years ago, private equity was going into lawn and landscape. Now, you know, you hear about that all the time here. But we built the culture together with the existing team and the new team. So it's been great. We've seen a lot of growth. We're doing things. Jeff's done a tremendous job with research. He can talk about that. But we just want to be that go-to source. Pro partners. We rolled in under the Alliance, the California Pool and Spa Association, the Texas Coalition. We have a renewed, amazing partnership with our friends in the Northeast, NESPA. And so I feel like we're just getting started. So it's been fun. It's been great.
So, obviously you're coming in to the industry, right? And you're getting calls and you're going to fail. And again, we know our industry, right? We're kind of not the nicest and everybody doesn't play with everybody, right? But you come in to the industry, right? There's no business plan, which is kind of crazy if you think about it, right? Like, you have this big association and you kind of have to take that and start assembling piece by piece. What were maybe some of the biggest struggles as you came in and you look at this canvas and you're like, holy crap, And then being a female, let's be realistic, right? Like, you're coming into a male-dominated industry. What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced just fresh coming in?
Yeah. So I think immediately when I started, within 2 weeks, our Genesis faculty kind of left Genesis and started, affiliated with WU, which is a phenomenal program. So it was me and Brian Van Bauer, and we had to rebuild it, right? So I said to my chairman of the board, I'm like, we need to go see Skip Phillips. Like, he lives in Tyler, Texas.
Yep.
I'm like, we have to fly. And he's like, well, why? He doesn't want to be part of us. I said, because he's a long-term member. He's co-founder of a program, past, board member. We flew there. I spent a lot of time talking to him. So rebuilding that program was probably the first big challenge. And then trying to figure out what the team's going to look like. There was rumors like everything's going to be in Virginia. And there's a ton of associations and a ton of talent in Virginia. there's a ton of talent in Colorado Springs. We still have a Colorado Springs office. And Colorado Springs had so much passion. I mean, they know CPO inside and out. And that's, that's a tremendous program. COVID actually kind of put us on the map because it's the first time we created toolkits and assets for the industry. Like, here are letters that you can write. Like, you are essential. We did photos of, because they weren't allowing them to service pools. So we said, we showed them pictures of green pools. If you don't let our members service the public pools, even though they're closed, you're going to have bigger problems. It's going to be green. You're going to have mosquitoes. So we literally helped so many of our members during that scary time that I think they were like, wow, this organization's really working on behalf of the industry. So, yeah, a lot of challenges, but we looked at them as opportunities.
And so you did back then, you did everything in person, right? You weren't doing, so obviously you're coming in, you're having to change the Genesis, you're having to change the CPO online. What was that struggle like? How long did that, I mean, I'm assuming, especially for you, Jeannie, it had to be stressful, right? Like one day you are managing education over here in person, and then the next day it's like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And let's be realistic. Like, even though it's an association and not profit, you have to make money to survive, right? Every business has to. So what was that transition like to be able to do that? And how quick were you able to do that?
Well, I can say, you learn from your mistakes too, right? We came in and CPO is, the success is based on the 700 instructors that are doing their thing. And we made some missteps, right? We made some fast changes and learn from that. So out of those mistakes, we grew a CPO advisory council, which has been phenomenal for the program, for the industry. The transition was incredible and it moved fast. And some of those missteps got us to where we are today, and we're stronger for it. We automated the CPO program, which used to be stacks and stacks and stacks of paper tests that were hand graded. So we've come a long way. So I think the transition, with the people we had and the support and trying new things and sometimes missteps, but you got on the other side and we're better for it. So,
yeah, we did a lot virtual. I mean, we did town hall meetings. Our awards was virtual, and we were learning that whole platform. Fortunately, now we've got folks on our team that are more techie than us. We tested a million times and still couldn't get it right when we went live, but it happens, right? So we moved pretty quickly. Our revenue went down, 20%, but then we came back stronger, and it gave us time. I said, whenever the trade shows open again, we have to show the industry what our association is. And we did a booth and we showcased our members and did pull-out quotes, like what the association means to them. It was probably like Buc-ee's. We had so many people in and out. We were like, oh my gosh. But, they wanted to learn more. They were drawn to seeing photos of their industry professionals there and said, let me find out more. So it's been great. And Rowdy Gaines joined us in January of 2021 and has done a tremendous job with drowning prevention. And we put, photos of him with his shirt off and the gold medals, and all the women want to come. So that's been great too. I will say, as we look to do more for the industry, like workforce and industry research, that's where Jeff kind of comes in. Jeff thinks so many of us have worked together for so many years. Like, I can end a sentence for Jeannie and vice versa, Jessica, whomever it is. But Jeff thinks so differently because he's got all this experience. So I've learned so much in 15 months from him in terms of, this morning, 6:30 in the morning, I had 7 emails. Hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of it? I'm like, can I just have my coffee? You're going to see a lot coming in the coming years in terms of what we're going to do for this industry.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot, and I think is becoming more and more of an important topic. And we talk about the industry becoming more professional and the new generation coming in as culture and business and the importance of it. You talked about it a little bit. Can you talk some more about what the culture was like when you took over the way it is today, and maybe some of the tactics that you've used to create a better culture?
Yeah. So I say, with complete respect to my predecessors, NSPF had so much culture. I mean, they believed in CPO. They wove the flag, and I mean, there was a lot of culture. It was very different at APSP. I tend to like walk around the office and say good morning to everyone when I show up, and people were like looking at me, and they were like, there were times I didn't, talk to like the CEO for weeks or months. And so I was like, okay, can I have the minutes from the last meeting? Like nobody, there wasn't a lot of culture there. And that's where I was, I was there every day. So we started creating the culture. We started to meet more regularly. We started to talk about what our goals are. And I'm very open and transparent. I had a conversation with this board member and they said this, like, how can we fix it? So but I traveled a lot too. So I was traveling a lot. I remember I went to Pool Corp's Retail Summit and I was in the booth. And Seth Ewing, who's been with us for about 8 years, said, why are you in the booth? I'm like, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? And he was like, that's awesome. But you're here, like, you want to represent the organization. So I just did what I was taught to do I worked also for an association management company, and they teach you the basics of being an association professional. So you just do what you're taught, you kind of do the right thing. So,
And it's interesting from my standpoint, the APSP, what you're saying, for an industry with so much heart and passion, the association needs to mirror that, right? So now we have a team that is full of passion and wants to, just better the industry and be a part of the industry, which I think was lacking. So
I got lucky. NSPF and APSP were so focused on competing with one another, right? Like, oh, I'm going to create a program and I'm going to there was a lot of staff that went back and forth. But I got lucky. I didn't have any of that. I was just here to focus on creating a new industry association. So I couldn't work in a time where it was like a constant battle back and forth. So in some ways I got really lucky because we put that behind us and it was like, let's just focus on creating the best association that we can for the industry. So
Yeah, it's let's not focus on the noise. Let's focus on us. Let's focus on this plan that we've put together, right? And kind of refresh.
if I got $1 for every time I said, I cannot change the past, so let's just focus on the future, I could retire. I mean, people were like, do you know in 1978, like, I wasn't selected to be on the board? And I'm like, okay, dude, like, sorry.
That is our industry, though, in a nutshell.
I've done this for
how they are.
20 years, and I'm not going to do it any differently.
But Sabeena, you bring up a great point, and it's what we talk about when we try to coach, the pool professionals out there, and we talk about growing a business and how do you lead people and how do you get them to want to do things for you. And I talk about the difference between like a manager and a leader, and a manager is somebody that you have to work for, right? A leader is somebody that you want to work for, and when you're a non-existent manager or you are too high to be approached and you don't get into the booth, right? You don't create those relationships and you don't get that buy-in from the employees or the people that are working for you or working with you. So when it comes for them to make a choice or whether or not they want to go above and beyond, right? It's like, well, do I just do what I need to do or do I do more because I know Sabeena and she's done this, or, she's a friend, or I consider her a great person, or whatever, and the same thing with you, GD, right?
All of them.
Right? So, and you create that buy-in, right? And then you get that personal, like, you know what, I want to do better, not only just for the association, but I want to do better for whoever my immediate supervisor is, or whoever my boss or manager is. So, it's worked in every field and every company that I've ever worked for in the past, right? And it's the way to be successful personally, I think, because you treat people like humans opposed to just people, or just like, a number or transactional, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to do this because it's your job. I don't care, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't give a shit about anything else or whatever it may be. But it's just interesting when you say that. And, associations I've never had any experience with. It's a completely different world. But at the end of the day, like Edgar was talking about, it's a business, right? And the one thing we all have in common is people, and we all have people. So it was just interesting to hear what you said, and it kind of makes sense to see, the progress that you guys have made and how you've been able to overcome those challenges, obviously because of the way you're leading the people. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you see it across every aspect of our industry, right? That there's that, like what you were talking about. And I'll use an example. If somebody created this course, now these people feel like they needed to create a course, and all their focus is just creating a course to compete with this, right? And what I love about you, Sabeena, it's like, no. Forget about the noise. Like, let's focus on our people. Let's focus on what it is.
Us. Yeah.
Let's focus on the surveys. Let's give them the tools. We have that. Let's create other things that are going to give benefits to our people. And that's what's needed in our industry, because for years, it's always been that constant, if you did this, then I have to do the same thing, but do it different. And it's like, then you lose focus of who your customer is. So guys, let's do this. Believe it or not, it's already been an hour since we've been talking. It's been 56 minutes, and it feels like we've been talking for like 10 minutes. So let's do this. Let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will continue.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos-Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. Jeannie was supposed to take over the podcast here. So take it over. Go.
Let's go. Okay, what are we going to talk about next? Let's turn to John.
Yo, John. Well, I'm just waiting for Janie to get back. We can't start anything until she gets back and she sits her.
Boo.
Boo. She's late. Boo.
I got booed.
Huh?
I wasn't late.
If you haven't met Janie and John, Jeannie and I are going to nominate you guys as the greatest couple in the world.
She's-
100%.
Aw, thank you.
You guys do not know what
She's
you
my
just started.
everything.
You just
Yeah.
lost the next 10 minutes of this
Right.
podcast. Go.
Right? She's my best friend. She's my everything. We've
That's
been,
exactly what she said when we
Really?
said it to her. 100%.
so
Yes.
22 years we've been married. So, yeah.
It
I picked
seemed
her up young.
last night like you were just dating.
Right?
Yeah.
See, that's what it's all about, right?
She meant
Yeah.
to say nominated for Cupcakers of the Year.
Yeah.
I am known for
Yes.
cupcaking. I think many,
the
many
king of
podcasts I've
cupcaking.
spent like 20 minutes talking about my wife. during
The first Pool Nation Awards, I said final thoughts, and all he did was talk
Talk
about
about
Janie
Janie,
for
Janie.
like 10 minutes on the first Pool Nation Awards. And,
That's what I do it
and
for.
the whole crowd was like, oh.
Right?
As Edgar's trying to figure out what
Yeah.
side's his best side.
Exactly,
Right?
right? Now I
Oh, shots fired.
know. So now I know why you always sit right there. So obviously the
That's his
left
good
side right
side.
there is your good side and not the other side. So for those of you, a little inside joke, we found out yesterday when we were at the studio.
Thanks, Sabeena.
We were taking.
I appreciate
pleasure.
it.
We had our photographer there, and she was taking photos. And while we were posing, she stopped and like kind of whispered to Edgar and goes, "I'm sorry, I forgot which one is your good side." And you should look, Edgar. Look, he's the first to throw out jokes and to laugh and make fun and have fun with people, right? You know, but and he can take it just like he can give it, but the color out of his face. You went completely pale.
She was
for the
good. She
it was
caught
for the
me, like,
first
off guard.
time that I actually saw Edgar was slightly embarrassed at that moment,
First
and I'm like,
time,
oh,
yeah.
and,
I'm like-
and being a good friend, a great friend, right? I would think that we would kind of like be, you know, understanding of that and kind of let you. And not,
Uh-huh.
no,
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a hold of that one right there, and I will forever tease you on that. And thank you
Forever.
very much, Sabeena, for bringing that up because I forgot.
I'm going to.
Yeah.
And I will say you're a good friend because a great friend calls every night, right, Edgar?
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Shots fired.
Yes.
Thank you, Sabeena.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
Anyway, so I want to talk about the PHTA and the important role that you guys play in the industry. We were talking a lot about this yesterday, and I think that there's a disconnect, or there was a disconnect in the past where people just look at the PHTA and think of, you know, that you guys are some entity and like the, you know, the just like the big shining object in the sky, or you're like the big company out there, right? And you deal with regulations, and I don't know if they think that you might be part of like government. And I've spoken to pool guys and gals out there, and they think of you guys like almost like a government agency as how they view the PHTA. And I'm like, no, you know what I mean? That's not really what they're about. But you guys play such an important role, and I think truly that the work that you guys do is it goes all the real work that you guys do goes unseen, and we don't get to appreciate how you guys are out there fighting for us, because there's so many things, especially when it comes down to legislation, right, and dealing with the red tape and politics out in DC, and then also state politics, that you guys are very involved with. And you were kind of talking about COVID as a for instance, right? I remember clearly when COVID hit, and it was like, oh my God, are we essential? Or are we not essential? Right. And we felt like, what do we do? What do we do? What can we do? But you guys were the ones out there fighting, right? And saying, no, you are essential. You are essential, right? And doing that for us. And I don't think a lot of people really realize, the impact, because it could have gone the other way, where we weren't classified as that. And then what would have happened to
our industry,
to our industry, right? Who knows? But instead it boomed, right? And it was probably the most lucrative time for the pool industry during COVID. And, and that's just a small portion of some of the things that you guys do for us out there. But can you share some of the key work and some of the key things you guys do behind the scenes? Because, it's not like you guys are out there, we did this for you, we did this for you, we did this for you, but you're doing all this work behind the scenes that I think that a lot of us don't necessarily see. So we can't really appreciate it, because you guys, they just don't connect the dots that way. So.
Yeah. You want to take that, Jeff?
Yeah, I was just going to say that we have a great government relations team and standards team, technical group, and they do a whole variety of different things. Like right now, there are 11 state legislatures in session, and so they're monitoring all the issues in those states. They're keeping our members abreast of what's going on there. And so, there's even something going on right now in Washington State where we're urging members to send in letters. And it's really about natural gas and having that available to heat pools. So in the colder climates, that's much more relevant to or much more important to have as a factor to keep the pools at a comfortable temperature. So there's a lot of issues that are coming up with energy efficiency, with natural gas or zero carbon footprint. And, these things are happening at the state level. And so we have to take on these issues and raise awareness and raise engagement in each state as these things happen. It could be drought the next day, and you could have a summer of drought in one area. And so we have to raise awareness with members on how to talk to consumers, how to talk to legislators, et cetera.
I was just going to add, it's the resources too. There's resources. We have tip sheets. Jeff talked about letters. We have templates for that. So really, not only raising awareness, but helping the industry have a voice, and everybody to be a part of that.
Yeah, so we have a couple of standards. The one that probably applies to service pros the most is water quality, standard for water quality for public pools and spas, and that's PHTA 11. So we put numbers to our standards, and so that is one that is kind of out there and used by industry significantly to maintain pools across a variety of states and nationally as well. So,
and everything is like, our standards are ANSI approved. So we go through an audit to ensure that it's an open and transparent process, and there's a 30 or 90-day comment period where the public can comment, and we have to address every comment. So, and then once the standard's approved, we send it over to the International Code Council, and they go out and advocate to try to get it put into law as a code. So it's a huge outfit that we do with standards and codes, and it's all about safer vessels, safer water quality, and the industry is the one who's helping to write all of that. So it's actually, that's something that attracted me to this organization. We wanted to do standards and codes with lawn and landscape, but we just never knew how to. So we've got 16, and we've got standard writing committees like going on concurrently. I think there's like 3 or 4 going on. There's 3 for residential, some for commercial. We did one for elevated pools. So it's been really great. And then we've got coalitions like J1 Coalition. During COVID, they weren't letting those J1 visas come in and work, at commercial pools. So we've got a coalition for that. We have one for energy efficiency. So they don't get bored in the GR department. They got plenty of work to do. So, and we hired this gentleman, Justin Wiley. He's our VP of Government Relation Codes and Standards, and we got him from ICC. He was the guy out there going out and meeting with all all the jurisdictions to say, let's adopt this as code. So he was a great get for us and really has done a phenomenal job with that side of the house. What we want to do is take it to the next level and like do little, infomercials on this is what you need to know about this PHTA standard. Because, you look at a standard and it's intimidating, but it really isn't. If you open them up, some of them are 8 pages, some of them are longer. So that's an opportunity for us to really educate the industry on the standards and how they can apply it to their business.
I have some comments and some questions here for that. I do want to come back on here really quick and give a shout out to Justin, which jumped on and said, he was saying, it wasn't me, but I am here. Thank you so much for representing the PHTA so well. Happy to be part of this wonderful team. First response, good morning. Eric, good morning. Our boy Kevin is doing a shout out. Jeanette, our girl Jeanette, which is part of the PHTA, and she is, I am very proud to be a member of the PHTA. The support during COVID was phenomenal. It saved so many, led to clarity when there was such mass confusion. And then I have Alicia Stevens in here saying good morning, but Alicia, just to let you know, Sabeena came out at me and was like, pew, 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 to me, like shots fired. So anyways, big shout out here to Aiden. Hey, happy birthday, Aiden. Chris, Jen Pope, what's going on? Let's see here. Classic Pool and Spa, good morning. Daniel, good morning. Brianna, good morning. Cialome Pool Care and our boy Stan. Big shout out to all you guys out there. Thanks for joining us. So one of the things that I want to continue to have the conversation, and I think this is one of the things that people don't talk enough about, right? I think we talk about the PHTA or associations, and it kind of gets compared to other associations. My first question, is there any other association, is there any other body in the pool industry that does that type of a work when it comes to codes and doing all that work for the industry?
In the pool industry, no. There are other codes out there that have swimming pools, that reference swimming pools, and we serve on their writing committee, but there's no other organizations out there for our industry that do standards and codes.
Yeah, and that's the part that I want to talk about that I think I'm so passionate about with the PHTA is, for us as pool guys, we go to run our business and it's stressful to run our businesses, right? Like we can't lift our heads a lot of times. I mean, I was just talking to Zach in the bathroom and he's getting calls from the team and he's, managing situations even as we're on here because the summer times are so crazy, right? John too, and scrambling at the last minute to get stuff done before he gets on the plane. It gets very difficult. So we kind of put our heads down. But really, a lot of the big role that you guys do that nobody talks about is really kind of protecting the industry, right? I mean, when we talk about that side of the business, which is a different side of your business, right? Like you have to have experience in governmental affairs to be able to do that, right? You have to have somebody that's going to put a plan together and say, hey, what are the best standards for the industry for us to be able to do it? And we talk about it, and there's nobody else doing it, right? And it's such an important role of what you guys do that a lot of people don't talk about. Everybody talks about just the education side of it. Well, yeah, that's a piece of the small puzzle of that big 5-year business plan that we do, right? But what you guys do with that entire side, to a lot of the pool pros that are out there listening, you're able to do what you're doing because the PHTA is going out there, creating the standards and protecting us, right? Because the last thing that we want is the government to kind of come in and say, no more gas heaters, right? That's a huge impact. Or Las Vegas, well, you can only build pools with 6,000 gallons, right? Or there's water restrictions, right? But you guys are the ones that are going out there and kind of going, oh, wait, let's protect the industry, right? So can you talk a little bit about that side of your business and kind of how you maybe manage? Because that's a totally different side of your business.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we just stood up a government relations advisory council. And people were busy. We had like a hard time at first, like populating folks. I made some calls, and now there's like a waiting list. Like people want to get involved. So we back everything up. I mean, a lot of times the process is not, it's not easy. And a lot of times we hire outside expertise to run studies. So we've got data and science to support our position, especially with the energy efficiency. Like we hired outside people. It's something our board is so passionate about us funding. You know, when I first came on, it was a pay to play. Yeah, we can do that, but we don't have the resources. So can you give us $20,000 and then we can, and I'm like, that's not what the National Association should do. So we've got a federal lobbyist team in DC. We've got a lobbyist, John Norwood in California. We've got 2 in Texas. We had one in Massachusetts, but NESPA has hired lobbyists in all of their states that they represent. And it's just, and then we track every single piece of legislation. So we've got this gentleman, Tyler, who, I mean, he just gets alerts and says, oh, we need to watch this. What do you think about that? But it's kind of like what we've done with the CPO Advisory Council. Now that we have a council, they're helping us like set the strategy and figuring out like what we can't tackle everything. So we're starting to prioritize our agenda. What are those issues that will, that matter most to the industry, and going after that. We've also did a whole new governance restructure on the technical side of the house. So we have a technical advisory committee, and whether you do a standard or you do RW, or recreational water and air quality, everything goes up to the technical committee before it gets to the board. So we're so much well coordinated now in terms of what we're doing. I think you've hit on something. What we do on the technical side needs to be amplified, because if you looked at my calendar, there's probably 7 to 10 meetings a week on the technical side of what they're doing for the industry. So, and that could be a podcast in itself, for sure. I mean, they are, and we've got some of the most engaged, passionate people involved in that. And it's all for the betterment of the industry. They want to protect our industry. So it's fascinating, like sitting in those meetings and and everyone's kind of like moving in the same direction now, where there used to be some competition among standards, which is crazy, but it's actually been really great to see us evolve and mature in that area.
And I think this is important information for like pool pros. We're, like Edgar mentioned, we're out here, we're grinding, we're kind of stuck in that lane and not really aware of these things. But I think understanding gives us more confidence, and we are professional. This is a professional industry. There is a lot more to this industry to be proud about, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah. We did a lobby day, the second one, Capitol Hill in DC. And what we did is, a lot of people are like, oh, pools, that's just for the rich people. It's really not. So we've set up meetings where they said, why don't you come into a manufacturing plant and see what it is we do? So we've set up some appointments out in California for them to go. Like Steve Barnes with Aquastar was there. And he's like, come to my plant. I want you to see what we do and like how many jobs we've created and the impact that it has. So we want to get up close and personal with those elected officials, because we have to educate them on what this industry does. So,
and I think what a lot of people underestimate is how many members there are, and especially in the service pro area. And so everyone, like you said, is grinding and doing, going about their job. but their voice matters. And so meeting with officials and meeting with local politicians, when we talk to them, we should talk as an industry, not as a bunch of individuals. So if we are doing CPO and 40,000 certifications a year, and they add up and we have over 100,000 in our database, how do you harness that so that they're actually communicating as well? So whether it's a letter writing campaign or it's showing up somewhere, their voice matters as well. So we just have to share that and amplify that more.
So kind of tagging on to what Zach was saying and what I think, and I kind of want to drive home this message and to everybody out there listening or wondering, what the PHTA is. And we'll, at the end of the podcast, we'll kind of get into, I want to ask about how somebody can become a member, what they need to do, right, and where their money goes to. And when I first started and I looked at PHTA, or when I looked at them, I saw them as an association, right? And I looked at it like the X amount. When I wanted to go, let's say, do a class or go get certified or go do this or go do that, I noticed that, hey, if I became a member, that I got a discount on this education, right? And that was kind of what it was at the beginning for me. But what I want to stress out to everybody here is, if you want to think about how you can give back to the industry, right, or how you can protect your business and the legacy that you're trying to create for your families, generations to come, that money that you put in when you become a member for an association like the PHTA, that money is, not only do you get perks, right, for this education stuff, but you're ensuring that you're being protected, or that you have somebody out there fighting for you, doing that fight for you, because everything takes money, right? Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of donations that are given, right, that you guys will get from some of the manufacturers or from whoever, but the majority of it comes from the individuals, right? And having the power of each and every pool pro out there, and builder, retailer, whatever it may be, knowing that, hey, look, the money that I'm putting into this is going to good use, right? And it's there so that we have somebody out there fighting for us when something comes awry, because we know that next year, or 6 months from now or whatever, something's going to happen, right? Or there's going to be somebody going to do something out there, right? You know what I mean? That's going to go, oh, we need to cut money. Oh, we're going to try. Okay, let's stop doing this or let's stop doing that, because they're ignorant. They just don't have the understanding of how it works or what the effect it has on the people out there, grinding every single day, working in this pool industry, where when you have people like yourselves that have access to them, to be able to fight for us, I think is more than enough reason for anybody to sign up and become a member, because, without you guys or people out there fighting for us, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West, right? And how do we, we preach about becoming a more professional industry, right? And being, looked upon like an electrician or like a HVAC or plumbers and stuff like that. If we don't have standards, right? If we don't have people fighting for us like yourselves, it'll literally be impossible for us to be able to achieve that, or make it much more difficult and take much longer. So before we go, I want to make sure I don't forget when we do our kind of closing thoughts, or before we finish, because I know we don't have too much time left. I want to talk about how people can join the PHTA and what they need to do in order to become a member.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I will tell you, I am so proud of our board. They sit there. We talked about yesterday how everyone's kind of in it to like make money. They want to make everything accessible and affordable for the industry, because it's all about raising the professionalism. For members, we have a class pass. Jeannie, how many? We have free courses so people can get their CEUs. How many are there?
Oh, I think there's at least, let me think about that, about 30 classes. And we're adding every day. And again, I kind of wish I brought my cape with me, because it's true. We are protecting the industry.
You are.
I usually bring that with me, but I left it at home this time. I didn't want to check a bag, but it is.
Did Jeff bring his? Jeff, do you have what? I can run down and get it real quick.
You would have flown here, but you flew with them.
Yeah. But it is. I like to think that the discount on education is kind of the gateway drug. I mean, that's just to get you in, right? Like, to start to see the value. But Sabeena talked about it earlier. We're really working on the value proposition, because it is about the membership is the organization, is the industry. So the more we can add value, the more, I mean, all of our education, it's from all of you guys, right? We have subject matter experts. We put together groups to create new education. We have a whole new Center of Excellence coming online in 2020, late this year in 2025, to really deliver that bite-sized education and create value for members and the industry. So, it's the brains, the pool pros. You guys know what you need. You guys know what the gaps are. So together, that it's really important, and membership is important for us to keep putting the value back in the industry.
And
For sure.
that Center of Excellence is going to be a place, it's going to be that educational destination, accessible, affordable. Our board, we've done tons of industry surveys. They want to track the progress. They want to say, I hired, a service tech. What education do they want to, should they take? And we want to be able to guide them. But it's going to be for the industry. We want partners to participate and put content on there, because, again, we want to teach this industry correctly. Also, with professionalism, certifications are with the individuals, and we're finalizing details on a company accreditation program. So the company can go out and market, and it's going to be based on, do you have financials? What are your hiring practices? Like, do you support education? And so there's a matrix, and because we want to give the companies those accolades too, the ones who are doing it right. So that's something we're working on as well, that will launch in 2025.
And some of the things we hear is, okay, I put 3 people through this program. How do we know that they got out of what they need to get out of it? So the Center of Excellence will be adaptive learning. So you'll have to take a path and be able to pass certain, a few questions or whatever to get to that next level, and it'll really be a prescriptive way to go through that education. So we're really excited about that.
So I think we're going to have probably time for 2 more questions. I want to talk to you here in just a little second. And Zach was sending me a message going, "Don't forget to ask this question." So I'm gonna
ask the
you want to
question.
ask the question, so I'm going to let you ask the question. So my first question, though, is, you guys as an association, the PHTA, I'm assuming you get together every year and, strategically go, okay, this is what we're going to work on this year. And I know that you guys have initiatives for the things that you have. How do those initiatives work, and kind of how do you guys pick what you're going to focus on for the next year?
We do that with the board. The board sets the strategic plan for us. So we did our second strategic plan a year ago, I think. We use an outside facilitator who's awesome. So we said, check, check, check. We've accomplished all of these. What does the next 5 years look like? Like, what do we want to do for the industry? And so they set this plan, and for under each educate, elevate, and advocate, there's probably 5 or 6 bullets. And then they leave it up to the staff to build out the operational plan. The board meets 3 times a year. And I report out on progress 3 times a year. And there's plenty of times that we didn't get to that. And this is the reason why it'll carry over into the next year. But a lot of engagement from, committees and councils to help us figure out, like, how are we going to achieve this goal? So it's alive. It's a living document. It's not like the facilitators, like, you don't build a strategic plan and just have it sit on a shelf and look at it in 3 years when it's got to be a living, breathing document. So,
and you did mention committees and councils. I was going to add, so what goes to the board is what is ruminated all year through the committees and councils, and again, looking at what gaps and what people want or need to better their businesses, and that rolls up, and then the strategic plan is the guidance.
It's built.
Yep.
Awesome.
Two good examples is our chapters, and so we have chapters across the country. Really, that engagement starts at that local level. And so, making sure our chapters are vibrant, have a lot of programs, local training and education in those evenings, where people can actually, come together, network, and just see and feel the industry more than, just hearing about it. So that is a big effort for us in the coming years, is just to make sure that we have chapters in the right area. And so we look at a lot of research and data to draw, those areas that we want to focus in. And some of that is looking at permits, and kind of who's building pools, where are they building them, how many are they building. And so looking at those concentrated areas, then there must be a lot of service and builders in those areas if there's a lot of pool builders. So, that is kind of where we're looking to expand some of our locations and also increase engagement, make sure our chapters are offering the best education possible for the audience that makes up the chapter. The other one
Go ahead.
was research, but I don't know if that's
He hit it.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask Jeff. We were talking about this yesterday, and it was really interesting to me, and I think it's something that's really important. So I wanted to have you talk a bit more about that research. And
Sure. Yeah, we do research from the board down. Is everyone's invested in it. And it really is a program that provides so much value to members and to the industry as a whole. We do a business operations survey annually, which is a very comprehensive survey. And then 4 times a year, we do this pulse survey, which is a quick, down and dirty 4-minute survey that people can fill out. And then people who participate in the surveys, they get to use the data and benchmark their companies. And I know that was, kind of what we focused on. And so it's very important to look at some of this data and say, compare your own company to that data and say, how am I performing against these metrics? And so, there might be something like sales per employee. So we have medians and averages, and so if you look at the average, it's 116,000 per employee. So it's like, how do you match against that sort of data? Company sales volume, the median is 366,000. So how does your company benchmark against that? If you're below or above, what are you doing that's differentiating you from these numbers? So we had over 500 participants in the business operations survey, so there's a lot of statistical validity in that. And, it's just very comprehensive down to, revenue per service call. $327 is the median average. And so how does everyone benchmark themselves against that? So we want as many people, members or non-members, to participate. And even if you're a non-member and you participate, you still get access to the data. That's how important we think it is to represent the entire industry. And of course, we'd love everyone as members and participating. That's part of the value you get.
And then I think all 3 of you asked the same question. It goes to a third-party vendor, so we don't see any of the data. It's all protected third-party. Company called Industry Insights who does it for a lot of associations. And then not only is it the number of respondents, the 500, but we ensure that it's spread across geographically, so that there are times where we're like, we need some more people in the West, so we target them. So we make sure that it's not only the 500, but we've got equal representation from some of those important regions we want to measure.
And I want to ask too, because we talked about it a little bit. There is kind of like a B type thing, 2-part to it, right? Because I know some people are starting their journey and maybe they don't have as much access to all the financial data requirements and things as a more established company. How does that work?
Yeah, there's the part B is definitely like a financial spreadsheet. This gross profit, net profit, sales per employee. There's a lot of financial data there, and it really aligns with your financial reporting that you should be doing for yourself. And so also looking at that and seeing some categories and topics that are covered that you may not be doing today or tracking or looking at, it's important to look at some of these numbers. There are some core numbers that you should be looking at, and really we've talked about it on the builder side, but we haven't talked about it on the service side yet. So that's I think a good potential podcast in the future.
So you can fill out and anyone can fill that out. But some do A and B with the financials. So if you're just starting out and you don't feel comfortable with the financials, or you don't have that reporting ready when the survey launches the end of February, you can still fill out portion A and still be able to benchmark based on those questions. I think there's like 20, 25
A little more general, right? Questions.
And it's all confidential, right? So it's, I mean, they can feel comfortable. You guys, nobody's seeing the data. It goes to the third party, and it all, so if you're kind of a little worried about entering that information, nobody in the industry is going to see it. It goes to that third party.
For me, I went through a program years ago, and part of the program was there was a tool in the software that pulled benchmarks. But the way that you got kind of lined up with that was with your NAIC code, right? And we don't really have a super overly defined code for a pool professional. So when I was putting in my benchmarks, it was a big struggle for me because a lot of it's like, that doesn't really make sense for what we're doing. So to me, I think it's super cool that this is hyper focused on the pool industry. And how do you line up and compare to some of your partners out there, your competitors out there? And that'll allow people to be able to take that information and adapt and adjust to be able to kind of meet that standard or exceed that standard. I love it.
Yeah, we break it down by builder, retail, and then service, repair, and maintenance. So, in the service, repair, and maintenance category, we have over, I wrote it down, 212 respondents. So it's a significant number statistically to be able to compare and benchmark your business to that data.
And again, it goes back to the same thing, right? There's nobody else doing this kind of work, right? And this is so crucial to what we want to do with helping to educate other pool pros, because one of the biggest things that we see is we get people coming into the industry and, hey, John, how much do you charge? Sabeena, how much do you charge? Jeff, what do you charge? Oh, well, I'm going to go $10 less than everybody so I get all the business, right? And it's like, it's not the way to do it, right? You have to educate yourself in order to be successful. We want pool pros to be great at service. We want them to be great at repairs. But what we really want them to be great at is the business acumen. And because if they do that, they're going to survive, right? And so for somebody to be spending the time, which we know time costs money, plus the money to do all these things. And then this is not a short-term strategy. This is something that takes years, right? You have 500 now, but the goal is to get 5,000, right? And that doesn't happen year one or year two. You got to continue to build on it. But I think those are the tools that are really going to allow us to be able to take that all the way back to the service pros and educate them and say, here's the report, here's the data, here's how you use it. And more importantly, here's how you're going to put it into play in your business, right? And that's the kind of stuff that's going to allow us to elevate that industry kind of to the next level.
It kind of eliminates chance and builds stability, and on that you can grow or choose what you want to do.
Absolutely. So. And Zach and I can geek out with this data stuff for like 70 years here. Like we'll be up to like 4 o'clock in the morning talking about numbers and percentages.
You'll be up till 4 o'clock. I'll be sleeping
at 8:23.
Yeah.
Edgar's waiting for John to call. It's 4 a.m. Still no call.
I want you guys to notice. Has he apologized?
For what?
For what?
For not calling me last night.
Oh.
No.
He's not going to.
Janie.
Boo. No.
Do me a favor. When we get out of here, get in the car, have a conversation with him, because he'll listen to you, and have him apologize.
Just have him call.
Emotional. Huh? My little snowflake.
Sorry, Edgar, you know whose side I'm on.
Boo. So, anyways, guys, let's do this. Let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to get some final thoughts.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with reoccurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Between each of us?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation. I was trying to get Jeanne, and I was trying to go, take it, but we were all distracted, all kind of chit-chatting over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, it's been an hour and 43 minutes. How long does it feel like for you guys?
20
minutes, right?
fast.
It's just, it flies by. So we're obviously going to go into some final thoughts here. CNC, what's up, brother? Jay Duran, Turtle Pools, what's going on? Elisa Crystal, my friend, how are you? She's coming down in a couple weeks to do some training for us. Joanne, what's going on? Pool Clean, big shout out to you out there as well. So, Zach, let's start with some final thoughts.
So it's been fun hanging out with you guys and getting to know you better. And honestly, like John said, having this idea kind of what the PHTA is, and then yesterday and today, just getting that deep dive and that better understanding of what the PHTA really does for the industry. And it's really cool to hear about all of the tools that are available for pros. And I'm going to go back to the data piece, because for me, this is super important. And I want to encourage more people to get involved, because like we talked about, the more numbers, the more inputs, the more things out there, the better the data gets. And when the time comes, I just want to encourage everyone to get in there, get involved, provide that information, because this is information that when you have it, it empowers business owners to better understand the ways they can improve their businesses or reaffirm they're on track. Or maybe we're focused on something and in our businesses that we're really trying to dial in or figure out, or we don't feel like we're on track with. But then when we compare to a benchmark, it's like, hey, we really are meeting the benchmark or exceeding the benchmark. So let's shift our focus and put our time and resources into maybe this area where we're not so strong. So I think it's really cool. And I appreciate you guys making the journey down here and spending the time with us.
It's been great. Thank you guys for
fun.
having us.
Appreciate it.
You got to call me in. Or, you know, I'm not gonna talk. I need to be introduced.
We do this running joke where unless I say John final thoughts, he'll just sit there and he'll just stare at me. So we're going to have to do a podcast where we have an extra 5 minutes and we could just wait to see who's going to break.
No, but look, for real, and I know I talked about this at the beginning. I know I talked about it a little bit just, about 10, 15 minutes ago, but I just want to really land the point, first of all, and say thank you very much again for coming down and doing this. This means the world to us. It's very important that we get your message out so that each and every one of our listeners and our, the people that are our Pool Nation family and just kind of get to understand who you humanize you guys in all reality. I personally learned a lot, and my perception of the PHTA, not that I had a bad perception of it, but I really didn't form much of a judgment either way. And this was a very valuable experience for us. And I truly see, the hard work and the passion that you guys have for what you do, right? You can't fake that shit, you really can't. And when you guys talk about it, and when you guys are, the time we had yesterday, chit-chatting over at dinner as well, you guys just, I can see, I can just see the love that you guys have for it and what you're doing for it. And a lot of times that work that you guys do is very thankless, so I just want to say thank you for what you guys have done for our industry and what you're fighting to do. Our industry has been very divided over the years, and I know I talk about this and I say how we're kind of coming together, and I get it, I get the frustration that sometimes when you have two people or even two companies. And, at the end of the day, we get too caught up in our own personal ambitions or what we believe is most important to us, but we forget to look at the big picture, right? And at the end of the day, we all want our industry to thrive and be better. And the work that you guys do for us is invaluable. So I just want to leave it at that and say thank you very, very much. I want to save some time. I'm not going to get too deep into this or go into a rant. I want to save some time for you to talk about how somebody can become a member and what they need to do in order to do that. I believe if you guys haven't thought about it before or are not currently a member, you guys should take the time to look into it, listen to this podcast again, do a little bit deeper diving into the PHTA, and then if you can financially, I think you should become a member, because it's a lot more than just a discount to education or to perks, right? It's having somebody out there fighting for you or fighting a big fight for you, because as the majority of us out there that are one polers or two polers, we don't have time. We don't have a big operation. We don't sit in office sometimes like Zach, right?
Especially coming from Zach that's been out in the field for
Zach
a long week,
look,
right?
Zach has been busting his balls, right? The last few weeks out there making it happen. But it's true, and we need to have people like yourselves out there doing that for us. So thank you very much for coming down here and dealing with us. Hopefully it wasn't too bad of
bearable.
Yeah, it was bearable. Right?
We're coming in the winter next time.
It's been a joy staring at your good side. Your good side
Wow.
Love it.
I don't know what Victoria started. Victoria, we're going to have a chat. She got me good.
Well, I have to say, back at you, like Zach said, it's very important to get involved. Going to the education, you guys have created community here with Pool Nation, and going to our education, to your boot camp, it creates that community. You learn from each other. So it's just powerful, power in numbers, and I think that's the most important message. So thank you guys for what you all are doing for the industry and for having us.
We people are probably wondering, membership for a single service person is $2.99. I mean, you're paying $24 a month.
Yeah.
$6 a week, cheaper than the coffee we had yesterday. And we've got this dynamite out of Kentucky. Her name's Cheryl Claiborne. She worked at the Lawn and Landscape Association for 34 years, and then I was able to recruit her. She's the one who really made it more of a relationship. And she'll get you on the phone and say, "Oh my God, you're paying me $2.99. I'm going to make sure you get 10 times the amount of benefit, and you can call me whenever you want." And she will make sure you get every ounce of membership benefit out of that $299. She is awesome. And whether you can get free standards, a PDF, class pass, like Jeannie said, there's 30 courses, discounts on staples and hotels. But you also have access. Justin Ivey, who you did a shout out to, he worked for a service company up in Connecticut. Now he's on the team and works in education. So and if you're not satisfied with your membership, we'll refund you back. I mean, that's how passionate we are about you're going to get value out of it. So if you ever want to learn more, go to our website. We're redoing our website. We did our website, and it was so beautiful. I said, our website's like putty on Seinfeld. It looks really good, but it's not very smart. So we're making it smarter. Jeff and Jessica are working hard on that. But and anyone can call me too if you guys want to share my contact. We love talking about membership and ways to get folks involved. So
Absolutely.
If I can add just one more thing, it was interesting. I thought, about what you're saying about caring and being involved and being engaged, and pool pros who have been successful for the past 10 years doesn't mean they're going to be successful for the next 10. And the one thought that I'd leave people with is just be curious. If you find the information through us, you'll find a lot. If you find it through Pool Nation, you'll learn a lot. And, just always be out there and never be complacent. Just that comfort should be a warning sign to you. It really should. So just always be looking for new trends, new information, new services, new ways of doing things.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on and coming down and spending some time with us. Hopefully, you guys don't leave kind of mad at us, right?
Huh?
Like, we're not hanging out with these guys anymore. That was too much. No. So
Bucky's next time, though, right?
Oh God.
yeah, Bucky's.
We had a great time.
We had a great time last night at Bucky's. So I don't know about you guys. So, right? So I really appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time to come out here and spend some time with us. And I want to thank you guys for a lot of the work that you guys do that doesn't get talked about, right? I think like I mentioned before, everybody focuses on the education, but really the way I see you guys is really those kind of protectors of the industry, doing the things that no other companies or associations are doing. And Sabeena coming in and having to deal with our industry, right? Which, we're not the nicest people in the world always. You got that constant competition, and for people to be calling you out right off the bat saying it's not going to work and it's not going to work. But for you to do what you've done and kind of gotten to your song and said, challenge accepted, right? and for all the changes that you're doing and for coming over to the Women's Summit as well, we want to thank you for all your time. It's been an awesome time.
Yeah, we've loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very
Cool.
much.
So everybody out there, John, Zach, one thing that I forgot, Pool Nation nominations open July 10th. So not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after that. We're going to be talking about that soon. So hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Later,
See ya.
Spider.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.